All right. So if we were in class together, we would do this as an activity, and you would get a packet of cards with all of these words on them, and you would sort them individually um, by the values that you find the most important to you, very important to you, or not important to you. And then you would do this as a group. You would look at everybody's cards and say, okay, do we have anything in common? Do we have anything not in common? And then we would collectively as a group identify values important to the role of teacher. And instead, we're going to do this in a discussion board. And so I'm going to have this list or these cards available to you, and your job is to identify five or six of these values words that you find very important to you. So I'm just going to go through these quickly so that you can see the types of values words that we will be selecting from. So acceptance, accuracy, achievement, adventure, attractiveness, authority, autonomy, beauty, caring, challenge, change, comfort, commitment, compassion, contribution, cooperation, courtesy, creativity, dependability, duty, ecology, excitement, faithfulness, fame, family, fitness, flexibility, forgiveness, friendship, fun, generosity, genuineness, God's will, growth, health, helpfulness, honesty, hope, humility, humor, independency or independence, industry, inner peace, intimacy, justice, knowledge, leisure, love, loving, mastery, mindfulness, moderation, monogamy, nonconformity, nurturance, openness, order, passion, pleasure, popularity, power, purpose, rationality, realism, responsibility, risk, romance, safety, self acceptance, self control, self esteem, self knowledge, service, sexuality, simplicity, solitude, spirituality, stability, tolerance, tradition, virtue, wealth, world peace. So this isn't an exhausted list by any means, but what I would like for you to do now, clearly you're going to weed some of these out, and we're going to clearly weed some out for um, simply for what's the word I'm looking for? For appropriateness, right? So think about maybe make two lists. Think about the values that are most important to you as an individual in your own life. And then think about maybe a list of values that are the most important to you in terms of the field of education. So get out a scratch piece of paper, make a T chart, and make two lists. One, if I'm thinking about me as a person, these five values are part of who I am and part of who make me me. And then on the other side, I want you to think about the field of early childhood education and say, as a teacher, this is how I show up to the classroom. These are what drive my work. These are what I value the most in terms of teaching and learning. And see, do you have any overlap? Um, do you see similarities between your two lists? And then you're going to share those two lists in a discussion board. And collectively, we're going to decide which of these values play a key role in how we show up to the classroom. And I think we'll find that we can never have the same exact values. May you have some in common with your peers? Yes. May you have some starkly contrasting values to your peers in terms of how you show up to the classroom. Absolutely, right? So let's just give an example. Maybe I teach from a place of service. Service is important to me, service leadership, service to families, service to children. And maybe my peer teaches from a place of teaching self acceptance. I accept myself for who I am so that I can teach children and families to accept themselves for who they are. And that's important to me. And maybe those two things don't show up on each other's lists. And how does that add richness to our work environments? When you've got one teacher who really values, let's say, safety and maybe responsibility, and another teacher who values purpose and passion, just think how having these different values can really create a place where people show up to be their best selves and can show that to children and offer a space where all values can be accepted. All right, I'm going to pause here and I hope you understand the task at hand. You're making two lists. Select the five or six, even if you have more or less than five or six, that's okay, that make you who you are, and that are yours personally from a personal standpoint. And then on the other side, the five or six or so values that you hold most dearly in your professional setting. And that's going to be in the discussion board. I'll have this list in two places. I'll place this in the module with your weekly content, and then again in the discussion board. And so we're going to start there, and I'll have more description of the activity in the actual discussion board. All right, everybody, have a great week. I think this is a super engaging activity, and I think you'll learn a lot about yourself and a lot about your peers.